And welcome back into the state duels as we are set for semifinal round action as we've got the Independence Mustangs taking on Davenport Assumption in the semifinals. As we get you set, Jamie Vaskey, Roger Reed back along with you. We will have Zach McCool back tomorrow with us, so you will not hear him the rest of the day today as he has to do the business part of life here the rest of today, but we appreciate him joining us tonight and the rest of the week. We are underway as we have Jacob Fensky from Davenport Assumption taking on Mitch Evans from Independence as Fensky out to an early takedown, and he's now got Evans on his back, so he's picking up near fall is Jacob Fensky. Programming note here while we go back to regular as Evans fights off his back. It's 6:30. Whether Independence wins this, they'll be in the championship. If they lose this, they will go for third and fourth. Regardless, they will wrestle again at 6:30. We will have that duel on KMCH.com. So Roger and I will be back with that duel on KMCH.com at 6:30 as the West Delaware Dubuque-Wahlert girls basketball game tonight will be on KMCH and 94.7. So we appreciate those of you tuning in to us today, and those of you tuning in already on KMCH.com. We will switch over to our second stream. So we encourage you, if you want to hear Independence wrestling tonight in the placing match, whether it's for first and second or third and fourth, we will have it on KMCH.com. First period over. It's a 4-0 lead for Jacob Fensky over Mitch Evans. As we mentioned, those of you listening on KMCH.com, all 49 of you, appreciate those of you listening in Waterloo, Farley, Independence, Delhi, Fort Collins, Cedar Rapids, and Monticello. Appreciate all of you listening in and tuning in to us today on KMCH.com. Roger, welcome back as we get you set for semifinal round action.
Well, thank you, Jamie. We had a short snack here, a quick lunch break, and I'm telling you what, very familiar opponents here. Davenport Assumption taking on Independence. We've seen both teams wrestle a number of times. As a common opponent is West Delaware. And I'll tell you what, if Independence is going to win this duel, they've got to stop the leg attack from the Assumption Knights. As we just saw Jake Fensky at the end of that second period get up on top of Evans and tilt. And that's what the Mustangs have to do. They've got to wrestle where they're strong, and that's on their feet, and that's on top. They can't give the Mustangs, or they can't give the Knights an opportunity to ride and to turn and to tilt. And right now, Mitch Evans is doing an outstanding job on Jacob Fensky. Fensky out early on a takedown, but there's a half Nelson by Evans with an inside wrist. He throws Fensky to his back, and Fensky rolls through. Boy, if Mitch Evans would have caught Fensky, this would be huge. That would have been a huge 3-point, maybe even a fall. 34 seconds left to go. Sit out turning now by Fensky. Evans is going to catch Fensky. Let's see if he can turn him with it. Fensky tried a Kelly underneath of Evans, and Evans went to an overhook and had Fensky ready to go to his back. And I'm telling you what, I like what Mitch Evans is doing at this point, Jamie. He's the aggressor on top.
Absolutely, and that's what he's got to do is don't come in here and be worried about a wrestler like Jacob Fensky because, Jacob Fensky, he's ranked in Class 2A as he is number 6. But I tell you what, the way we've seen Mitch Evans wrestle Patrick Woods the last few times, he's just got to come out here and wrestle like that.
And he's tough on top. That's his strength, and he's doing a great job right now. He's controlling the wrists of Fensky. Right now, Evans... And we're going to get the end of the second period. Evans doing a great job controlling risk, and now Evans is going to go back up on top. And I enjoyed my little chat with Coach Doyle in between, and stay with us because we're going to have Coach Doyle on before tonight's match, so that's going to be a lot of fun. But as I talked to him in between matches, and that's exactly what he said. He said, we can't go underneath of him. We've got to stay on top. We've got to wrestle to our strength, and that's on top, and that's on our feet. That's exactly what Mitch Evans is doing right now. He's going to take up to start this third period, and he goes right back to work on the head and arms of Jacob Fensky. Now a cross body ride by Evans, and again, that's going to be a 2-point reversal by Fensky. And again, you throw a cross body ride on somebody that's good with the legs, that's good with the cross body, and what happens is what happens right there, and that's usually a 2-point reversal as Evans got way too high with the ride, and Fensky basically just went to a tripod, and Evans fell off the top, and that made it easy for That made it easy for the 2-point reversal. Now Fenske gets high with the legs, and Evans gets a little payback there with the 2-point reversal. 6-2. The clock's still running. Got to stop the clock. Thank you very much. And about 4 seconds ran off. Mitch Evans would take all the clock that he can get. 6-2. That's a Jacob Fenske lead here. Again, this is the semifinals. On the far mat is Mediapolis taking on Creston. And Independence will have either the winner or the loser tonight at 6:30. There's a standing Granby roll by Fenske, nicely followed by Evans. No change of position. Off the edge of the mat we go, so we're going to get a restart back to the middle of the mat. Independence has stayed home. They are back on the blue mat, mat number 4, directly in front of us. We've got a bird's eye view, one of the best seats in the house right here in media row. We can see all 8 mats. We can see all the action, and not a thing blocking us. So, outstanding view. 50 seconds left to go. Evans up on top, still riding Fenske. Surprised we're not getting a stalling call against Fenske. He's doing a lot of laying around. He's sitting on that 4-point lead right now. A sit-out attempt by Fenske, and he latches onto the right leg of Evans. He may end up with a 2-point reversal. He's got that right knee of Evans bent. Now Evans straightens the leg, and he's going to pull himself back behind Fenske. 25 seconds left to go. 6-3, the opening match. We started the last one. There's your warning call against Fenske, and that's going to be 1 point for Evans. Again, Evans is doing a great job applying a lot of pressure, keeping the pressure on, but Fenske doing a good job playing the possum, bellying down. Here comes a crossbody ride by Evans one more time. 5 seconds left. I'll tell you what, that's a solid match by Evans. He's going to lose this 6-3. A simple decision, but again, that's a great match by Mitch Evans against a very, very solid opponent in Jacob Fenske. So, Jamie, we talked about in the last duel, the strength of Independence is wrestling good where they're strong and not giving up any huge points, and that's a nice job by Mitch Evans. Losing, but you only give up a simple decision.
It is, and, that's what you need to do is, a ranked wrestler against an unranked wrestler, and he gave up a simple decision, and really he was the aggressor near the end of that match, and that's the reason. He unfortunately didn't get enough stalling calls that he needed didn't get the stalling calls that he needed there late in that match to come out there with a win.
Well, we're going to go to weight class 120, and we'll see who Independence throws out on the mat here. It's not up on our board yet, but I would imagine that Davenport Assumption is going to throw Brendan Gould here. He is their highly ranked wrestler state qualifier. He was second in that district, winning the wrestleback to Logan Riley from West Delaware. So 0-0 up on the board. This looks like it's going to be Drew Davis, Jamie. And again, Coach Mike Doyle opting to wrestle strength against strength. Drew Davis for Independence, 30-14. 31-13 now. They update those records. Brendan Gould is a senior. He's 31-4. So again, Assumption does exactly what they need to do, and that's get that first takedown, and then look out as they throw the crossbody right in, and they tilt you and turn you. There's a tap and go by Gould to the right side of Drew Davis's leg. Head to the inside single. Gould trying to cut the corner. He's latched onto that leg pretty good there, but there's a quarter Nelson by Davis. I tell you what, if he can rotate the head, he's stuffing the head of Gould. If he can keep stuffing the head, he can rotate around and pick up the 2-point takedown, and maybe back points with that quarter Nelson. He's got a quarter Nelson on the left side of Gould. Gould shot straight in, and Gould is belly down. Bad position for Gould. Good position for Drew Davis. Now Gould pulls himself up, pulls his knees underneath, and we're going to get a stalemate. 20 seconds left to go, so nice job by Drew Davis, putting a little pressure right on the head of Brendan Gould, and you like to see that. A little punishment by the sophomore Davis from Independence. There's a long shot by Davis, and that's going to be 2 points. Boy, again, Jamie, That's a good high crotch shot, but he didn't cut across to a double. When you don't cut across to a double on the Assumption Knights, they're going to throw a crossbody right in and scoot around you and pick up the 2, and that's exactly what Gould did with short time.
Absolutely, and that's, he did, and he got that takedown. That's what you said, and unfortunately, you don't like to give him up late in the period, and that's what Drew Davis did there.
Well, our official's going to look at the shoe of Brendan Gould, and Brendan Gould's got some tape stuck on the bottom of his shoe, so we're going to get a stoppage here as the referee points that out, and he pulls it off, and we're going to go to neutral. This is a good spot for Drew Davis, but you got to make that shot count. He got in on that terrific high crotch, and again, he didn't cut across to the double, and that let Gould throw a leg in and pull himself to the top. Waiting in the on-deck circle at weight class 126, we might see Tanner Erickson Dale from. Boy, there's a nice shot by Gould. He got in deep on Davis, went to a cross face, picked up that inside knee, cross face far arm, and now here comes the tilt. There's a 1,001 count. Tight waist tilt by Gould. He's going to elevate the hips of Davis and look for a 2-point tilt. Not going to get it, but it's 4-0 right now. Our dual meet score we're just underway here. We started at weight class 113. Assumption winning the first match. Jacob Fensky getting a 6-3 decision over Mitch Evans. So the Assumption Knights are up 3-0. Inside wrist now by Gould. Double inside wrist now by Gould. And again, Gould doing a great job hip to hip, applying a lot of pressure. There's a tight waist tilt now by Gould as he's got the left shoulder of Davis planted on the mat. Now a power half Nelson's got a cross body right in on the right side. Power half Nelson. Davis rolls through. Now a power half Nelson on the left side by Gould. Davis doing a good job keeping his hips flat. And now Gould gets underneath with that half Nelson, and he's going to tilt Davis with it. Now he's going to pull his hips up and rotate the hips of Davis. He got a 1,001 count. Once again, Drew Davis shows a little bit of moxie right here as he goes belly down. He's not going to give up any near fall points. Great job by the sophomore from Independence. Again, most people would have given up points there to Gould. Drew Davis showing a little strength in the abdomen and in his hips, staying belly down and not exposing those shoulder blades for back points. So we're going to go to the third period. It's 4-0, and Davis is going to choose down. Well, I kind of would have liked to seen Davis go back to his feet, but you know what? He's going to go down. So you got to have great hand control. Got to get your feet up, feet underneath you. You got to get your hips up, and you got to keep those Assumption Knights for throwing a leg in. Hard chop now by Gould. He's got the left arm of Drew Davis wrapped underneath. Now he's going to elevate Davis. It gets another 1,001 count, and this time Gould's going to pick up 2. We'll see if he does. Yes, he picks up 2 on that tilt. And he did a nice job there, Gould did. He started to the left and then brought him back to the right, picked up the 2-point tilt. Now Gould goes back to work with a half Nelson on the left, inside wrist on the right. Again, you're seeing the strength here, Jamie, and that's the temptation when it's your choice. You want to take down, but I'm thinking if you're wrestling Davenport Assumption, you want to go on your feet or up on top.
And how many times have we said that in the past? You know, you don't like to get underneath Assumption wrestlers just because they are so tough with the legs on top.
And here we go, under a minute now, 58 seconds, it's 6-0. It's 6-0 in favor of Gould, and now Gould with the drive cradle on Davis. He's picking up back points. This thing is going to be a major decision. If Gould can readjust, it could be a fall. He's got a drive cradle on the left side, a near side cradle, and he's going to pick up 3. Now Brendan Gould working on a major decision, 9-0 with 34 seconds left. And again, that's exactly what Assumption does. They wear on you, they wear on you, they wear on you, and it's one thing to the other. There's a tilt now as Gould just pulls Davis back up on top of him, and they load you up on your hips, and then once they get you loaded up, they slide their hips out, and you end up going right to your back for tilt points. So outstanding job by Gould. He's a senior. Drew Davis, the sophomore. 9-0 is the lead. 3-0 is our meet score. Just underway. Started weight class 113. We've got all semifinal round matches with 1A and 2A going on in front of us. And we've got, Jamie, we've got all three classes going on semifinals. To our left is Southeast Polk and Bettendorf. Over on the far side, it looks like, no, it's not. It's Southeast Polk and Waverly Shell Rock. And it's Bettendorf taking on Cedar Rapids Prairie. Mediapolis taking on Creston. Well, that's going to be a major decision right there, Jamie, as that match concludes. A 9-0 major decision for Brendan Gould. That's going to keep the goose egg up on the Mustang side of our scorecard. That's going to give the Knights a 4. It's now 7-0. We're going to go to weight class 126. And we're going to see Kirk Momsen from Assumption. Momsen is a sophomore. He's 29-14 coming in here. And he's going to take on the freshman, Tanner Erickson-Dale. And Momsen out early on a 2-point takedown. Now he goes right to work on the tilt. He gets Erickson-Dale off to the side, and let's see if he picks up 2 with it. No, he doesn't. Erickson-Dale does a nice job rolling through. Boy, you like to see that out of the sophomore Erickson-Dale, out of the freshman Erickson-Dale. Kirk Momsen, 29-14, qualifying for the state, qualifying for Assumption. Doing a nice job up on top again. Tanner Erickson-Dale needs to work some hand control. 57 seconds left. There's that tilt attempt by Momsen. He's got Tanner Erickson-Dale on his back. He's going to pick up at least 2. I don't think he's going to get the fall with that tilt, but it's a chicken wing tilt. He's got a chicken wing on the left side. Then he reaches underneath and grabs that left wrist. And then he just basically pulled him right on top of his hips, slid his hips out. And Erickson-Dale's shoulder blades were exposed to the mat, and he's going to pick up a 3-point near fall, I believe. Yes, it is, 3-point near fall with 29 seconds left to go. And Assumption has picked up where they left off at that district meet at Central DeWitt, scoring lots of points. They qualified 10 individuals to the individual tournament that starts tomorrow. They're the returning 2A state champs, and they're trying to make it, they're trying to do it again here. Top-ranked Mediapolis is over on the far mat, and Mediapolis right now is ahead of Creston 3-0. They're a little bit behind because they had an injury at match 113. All right, whose choice is going to be? It's going to be Erickson-Dale's choice. Is going to defer over to Momsen, and once again, Momsen's going to go up on top. What else would you think? Where else would they go, Jamie?
Exactly. That's what they do. You know, you don't see teams choose top as much as you see Davenport Assumption choose top.
And at some point, I'm going to ask Coach Bush. We chit-chatted on occasion. You know, I just like to just get a little insight into their drilling, how much time they spend per practice on legs, leg offense, leg defense, and that stuff, because they just do it like nobody else. And there's another tilt now by Momsen. Momsen rolled across his back and tipped Erickson-Dale to his back and picked up 2. Now he goes right back to work on that half Nelson tilt, and he's got Erickson-Dale on his back again. That's a half Nelson tilt. That is so unorthodox. Momsen threw a half Nelson in on the left side of Dale, a tight waist with the right, pulled him on top of him. Momsen exposed his back, rolled across his back to expose the shoulder blades of Erickson-Dale for another 2-point near fall. It's been only 1 takedown for Momsen. The rest of the points have been near fall points. 56 seconds left to go, and Momsen working on a 10-0 major decision. So the Knights are trying to put some bonus points up on the board with major decisions here. 43 seconds left to go in the second period. Spanning around, we see Alburnett. Clarion Goldfield is ahead of Alburnett 5-4. That would be a huge upset. Clarion Goldfield trying to get a little payback. They lost a close duel to Alburnett last year, so they kind of like their chances this year with the Pirates. One more tilt by Momsen. Now it's 12-0, and I think Momsen has got that expression on his face. He's looking for a technical fall now. He's 3 points away, 12 seconds left to go. There comes that tilt again. That could do it right there if he holds Erickson-Dale for the 5 count. That's 3, and that's going to do it. That's going to be a tech fall for Momsen, and this match is going to be over right there. Well, Jamie, Kirk Momsen doing what Kirk Momsen does best, and that's tilt. And we saw Sam Phillips wrestle a tough, I think that was a 2-1 win at the district first round over Momsen. Momsen is a tough cookie, and I'll tell you what, that's why he's tough right there, because he controls your hips so well.
And it is, and he's just like every Davenport Assumption wrestler we see, he's able to ride the legs. He gets that cross body right in, and they're almost unstoppable to defend that.
Well, if you don't work on that, if you don't expect that and spend some time working on it, and somebody throws a leg in on you, just like this match at 132 that we're seeing in front of us with Peyton Nolting. And at 132 for the Knights, I believe they're going to send to the mat Eric Clark. There's nobody that tilts like Eric Clark, and we've seen him do it for 4 years, and he frustrates a lot of people. And I'll tell you what, he's a leech. And he's going to pick up a 3-point near fall on the edge of the mat on that tilt. Again, not going to pin. He doesn't pin too many people, but he sure racks up a lot of points with the tilts, and he scored a lot of technical falls by tilting people. So Eric Clark is a senior, is 23-10, but again, don't watch records. Here comes a cradle now by Clark as he's got Peyton Nolting on his back. 107 left to go, so a lot of time for Clark. Peyton Nolting's going to have to fight like crazy to get out of that cross-face cradle. And he's going to stretch that leg and split the hands of Clark, but that's going to be another 3-point near fall for Clark, and he goes up 8-0 with 51 seconds left to go in the first period. So he can score a whole lot of points in a short amount of time. And it's 8-0, and he throws a cross-body right in on the right side of Nolting, and Nolting does a nice job this time, grabs the heel. Here comes a tilt by Clark, and he's got Nolting on his back, and you can just see these youngsters, Jamie, of Independence, this thing, what do we got to do? I think I'm on my way out, and Clark grabs me around the waist and pulls me up on top of his chest and hips and tilts me, and there's another 3-point near fall for Clark, and he goes up now 11-0 with 13 seconds left in the first period. So I tell you what, a lot of points on the board. A lot of points on the board for the senior from Davenport Assumption, and it seems like he's been in that lineup for about 10 years.
Oh, it does, and I tell you what, they when they come out, they're just, and Clark, when you're able to tilt and get the legs in like Clark is able to do and like the Assumption Knights are able to do, it doesn't take long to add up that score, because they will let go of the move and yet still have it right there and be ready to go.
Well, there's a great shot by Peyton Nolting, but I'm telling you what, I think Clark just baited Nolting. Clark's going to end up with a 2-point takedown. It was Clark's choice. He deferred over to Nolting, and Clark just stood flat-footed, and Nolting shot in on a great shot, and Clark dove right between the legs of Nolting, ended up in a scramble position, pulled himself out the back door, covered the hips of Nolting for a 2-point takedown. Now here he goes on the tilt. He's going to pick up 2. If Nolting rolls out of it, this match is going to be over again via tech fall. Clark's going to try to climb on top of the body. That's going to do it right there. Referee's got to stop it. That's going to do it right there. 2:47 tech fall for Eric Clark by a score of 16-0. So again, another goose egg as we go 4 matches into it. Independence has not scored, and that's going to be another tech fall for the Assumption Knights, so they will go up 17-0. And Jamie, Coach Doyle was kind of afraid of this. You're looking for somebody to light the fire again, and you're starting to. It's really the strength of Assumption at 113 to those middle weights, and you dug yourself a hole 17-0. But we've seen Independence dig out of some holes before, but they're wrestling a very fine team in Assumption.
They are, and this is where, if you're Independence here, you got another tough wrestler in Tiante Parks that you're going up again. You've got to hope, you really got to hope that the Mustangs if you're the Mustangs, you got to really try not to give up too much here and let the stopper come in. Let Chase Straw come in here and try to make up some of those points.
Well, you're right. We're going to go off the edge. Tiante Parks another one of those Assumption Knights that seems like he's been in the lineup since he could walk. Here we go, under action. Back to action we go as Parks shot a shot and House off the edge of the mat. There's a nice single, inside single by House, but a hard whizzer by Parks. And Parks is trying to step over the top of House and pick up 2. There's a 2-point takedown by Parks, and he's going to crank House to his back. He's got a quarter Nelson on. He steps over the left leg of House, and he's got a quarter Nelson. Now Parks is going to step over the top of House and try to throw in the double spur, and that's a nice job by the sophomore from Independence. Went to a high bridge, bounced Parks off, then covered him up for 2-point reversal. It's 5-2, so that's a nice job. And now a stand-up by Parks. He's going to split the hands of House and score 1. 37 seconds left to go at 6-2. Again, 17-0 is our dual meet score here. Assumption looking like they are the number 1 or number 2 ranked team. There's a takedown by Parks as he covers the hips. Got in on that single again, cut across to a double, covered the hips up of House. And the sophomore from Independence at 18-25 is fighting to go in just a little bit rough here. And again, Coach Doyle was wary of the Assumption Knights, have not met head-to-head other than a few matches at the Benton Community Invite. As time expired, another 2-point tilt there by Parks, and he's going to take a 10-2 lead. So, Jamie, the end of the first period's over. You're up 10-2 already, so Parks has put a lot of points on in a short amount of time.
Yeah, he really is. He really has, and that's why he's ranked right up there in the state as well. As Deontay Parks comes into this match ranked number 7 in the state, so he's definitely tough.
Well, he certainly is, and there's a 2-point takedown by Parks as House goes to his feet, and now a tilt by Parks. Let's see if he picks up 2 more. He gets 2 more off it, so it's 14-2, so a takedown and a 2-point tilt. It's 14-2, so another 3-point tilt. This match would be over also. And again, no falls. It's been major decisions and technical falls by the Assumption Knights right here. Now, weight class 145, Assumption, Jamie, this is going to be a great match. Tristan Finch and Chase Straw, if we happen to see that. Finch has been very impressive. We may see that or we may not see it. And we'll see if Coach Doyle chooses to put Chase Straw, because that could be, I'm not sure what side of the bracket Finch is on. I think he's on the opposite side of the bracket as Straw. That could be a finals match, so we'll see if they decide to do that. There's a chicken wing by Parks on the left side of House, and he's going to try to load House up and end this match. He's going to step over the head of House. Deontay Parks with a chicken wing on the left side, inside wrist on the right side, and he's looking for some back points. Now he steps over to the right side, and House is going to do a nice job getting rid of the wing, stretching that left arm forward. Now snap back attempt by Parks, and he might get the fall here. A short sit-out attempt by House, a snap back by Parks. House is on his back. Parks is going to try to readjust and get his chest up on top and go chest to chest, but House rolling back and forth, trying to get himself off his back. 29 seconds left. Parks now scoops the arm of House. House again trying to roll through to his right. Parks is going to readjust. Could be a fall. Referee looking close. House up, and there's the fall. First fall of our duel here in 3 minutes and 43 seconds. 3:43. Deontay Parks is going to win by a fall. And Jamie, when you're on your back in those tilt positions for so long, it's just very frustrating.
Yeah, it really is. And that's why we mentioned right here the Mustangs they've got to come out here and they've got to they got to put a stop to this here and get on the board.
Well, we'll see who Independence, of course, is going to put Chase Straw out here. And we'll see who Assumption puts out. That's not posted on our board, and they've only listed their varsity lineup. So that's a nice snap and spin by Chase Straw. I'm not sure that this is Finch. This is Nick Johnson. He's 19-1 as a sophomore. And we thought that might happen, Jamie. Nick Johnson, he's 19-1, and we just kind of wonder where Assumption continues to get quality wrestlers that you never hear about. They pull them out of the woodwork. They pull them out of the Mississippi River. I'm not sure, but they continually get outstanding wrestlers there. And this is a sophomore that's 19-1. I'm not sure if that's a complete varsity record, but he's got 19 wins against only 1 loss. And Chase Straw made that takedown look easy, and he's going to cut Johnson loose. We're going to go right back to our feet, so it's 2-1. Johnson takes a long single shot on Straw, and Straw in on a nice double. He gets his head to the outside step, drives Johnson over to the left, covers him up, and picks up the second takedown. So we'll see if Chase Straw can build a little bit of lead right here and continue to rack up the points here, because Independence needs something to get the light going, to get the fire going, Jamie. Don Bosco ahead of Eddyville Blakesburg, 16-10. Claren Goldfield has cut the deficit to Alburnett. It's 10-8. And Minneapolis is over Creston, 15-0. Webster City Albia over Webster City, 15-12. All right, back to action we go. Straw up 4-1 with 6 seconds left, and he's doing a nice job riding that inside wrist on Johnson. Johnson trying to work some hand control on Straw, and our time's going to run out. Let's see whose choice it's going to be. It's going to be Johnson's choice. He's going to defer over. He's going to defer over to Straw, and Straw's going to take down Jamie. So we'll see if Chase can get right back to his feet. There's going to be a caution on Johnson for starting too soon. Caution on Johnson. Connor Shalista taking on Taylor Lehman. There's a stand-up by Straw, lift and return by Johnson. Johnson's showing some strength here as he got underneath the hips, below the hips of Chase Straw, and lifted him back up, and then a return. Again, it's 4-1. And here comes a cross-body ride, Jamie. Here comes Johnson with the cross-body ride on Chase Straw. Straw now gets his knees back up underneath. Power half Nelson on the right side. Now Johnson throws in the double legs, and he's got Chase Straw stretched out to the left center of the mat, working a power half Nelson. Probably going to get a stalemate right here. Probably going to get a stalemate, although Johnson now prying that power half Nelson on the right side. On the right side of Chase Straw. Now he kicks the right leg free. Now a power half Nelson. He keeps it on the right side, applying a lot of forward pressure to the head and the back of the neck of Chase Straw. Again, Nick Johnson, only a sophomore, but 19-1. 1:02 left to go. Straw's up. Straw is up 4-1. And we're going to get a stalemate. So, wild and crazy match here going on. Bettendorf up on Prairie 20-0. So we'll kind of keep this spied. Waverly Shell Rock, Southeast Polk up 24-6 on Waverly Shell Rock. So Waverly Shell Rock, Jamie finding the going just a little bit tough against the returning state champions in Class 3A. Johnson gets high, riding the legs. Nice job by Chase Straw as he pops his hips up. Johnson falls off the top. Straw's going to pull his head up and pull his head out, cover the hips of Johnson. Now here comes a hard cradle by Straw. Straw with a crossface cradle. Crossface on the right side, trying to drive that head to the left knee of Johnson. Johnson doing a nice job going belly down and straightening that left knee. Straw still out in front with a hard crossface. With 9 seconds left to go, he's trying to lock it up, and we're going to go to the third period, 6-1. So it's going to be Johnson's choice. Let's see where he decides to go. He's going to take a peek over to Coach Bush, and Coach Bush is going to say down. Coach Bush's assistant over there is going to say down, and Straw's going to let him up. Okay. There's a 1-point escape by Johnson, 6-2. So there's that short arm drag by Straw. Boy, he's so good with that. Short arm drag to the opposite leg. There's a sweep single attempt by Johnson. Reshot by Straw. Far side Kelly keeps the left arm of Johnson. He's going to try to throw Johnson to his back. He keeps the right arm, and he's going to end up with a 2-point takedown. 8-2. So we'll see if he cut him up. He's going to let him. He's going to cut him loose, and we're going right back to our feet. Johnson is not backing up from Straw. Straw's just doing a nice job controlling hands, and he's so good with that quick tug. And no points yet. He didn't cover the hips of Johnson. He thought he had two. Now there's a single by Straw. He's in deep. He's going to lift the right leg up, and he's going to back trip him, and he's going to cover the hips and pick up two for another takedown. Now he's working on a major decision, 10-3. He's got to cut Johnson loose again with 1:08 left to go. 23-0 is our lead for Assumption. And we're going to get stalling against Johnson. 1 point escape, or 1 point for Straw. There's going to be an escape now. Oh, there's no change there. 11-3. Now there's an escape by Johnson. Now Straw in on a double. Straw making this look easy. He's got Johnson a beat right now. 38 seconds left to go. Another escape by Johnson. Straw in on a double. He's going to cut through the legs, and he's going to stack Johnson up. Johnson tries to hang on to the leg. There's another 2 point takedown. Takedown number 6. It's 15-5, 26 seconds left to go. This is a takedown clinic by Chase Straw. Escape by Johnson. Another takedown. Escape by Johnson. Another takedown by Straw. 17-7. He's trading 2 for 1. 13 seconds left to go. There's an escape by Johnson. Straw going right back to work. 8 seconds left to go. Sweep single attempt by Straw. He's in deep. Going to cut across. He's going to pick up 2. Now he's got back points. He's going to pick up 2 and 2. So it should be 25.
That's a tech fall.
25-8, I think. 23-8, whatever it is. That's a takedown clinic. That's going to be a tech fall. Tech fall for Chase Straw, 23-8. Jamie, that's a lot of points.
It is, and that's a great job there by Chase Straw, as he's going to pick up that tech fall, and we talked about it. That's what he needed to do. He needed to come out and put the Mustangs on the board and really get this thing headed in the right direction.
Well, that was a takedown clinic. After that started slow, Chase Straw found his groove, and I'm telling you what, he got his groove, and he was trading 2 for 1 at a blistering pace, scoring 23 points with 9 takedowns. I think that was 10 takedowns. Nice job there by Chase Straw. We're going to move up to weight class 152, and we're going to see Tristan Finch at 152 taking on Jake Jewell for the Mustangs. So you had to figure we'd see Tristan Finch. 2 or 3, weight class 152 is 32-3. And you had to think if you want to win this thing, you wouldn't keep one of your big guns out of the lineup. Tristan Finch is a junior at 32-3. I'll tell you what, 10 takedowns for Chase Straw. And I think 6 of those were in the third period. So outstanding job there by the junior from Independence.
That certainly was, and that we show why. Just another example is why he's ranked number 1 in the state and still undefeated.
You're exactly right. Well, Alburnett is going to go ahead of Clarion Goldfield 19-8. Clear Lake is going ahead of Sergeant Bluff 13-4. Excuse me there, no takedown yet as the wrestlers went off the edge of the mat. They've got to get located back to the center again. There's the whistle, 51 seconds left to go. And again, nice snap down by Jewell. And Finch does a nice job squaring it up. Finch giving up a little bit of weight here. Finch the normal 145-pounder. There's a nice double by Jewell, got in deep. But I'm telling you what, a scramble, and we're going to see if Jewell can come out on top and score the 2 points here, and we're going to get a stalemate. Finch went through the legs of Jewell and was hanging on for dear life as Jewell was trying to cover the hips and come up on top. We're going to see Tristan Finch at 152. We're going to see Danny Bush at 160 for the Assumption Knights, taking on Nicholas Holt. That'll be our next match up. There's a nice front headlock by Jake Jewell, but he's not going to score any points out of it. And we're going to go the second period. Goose Eggs up on the board, 0-0. Again, our dual meet score now is 23-5, courtesy of that very, very fine technical fall by Chase Straw, 23-8. And again, Jamie, we've seen the Independence Mustangs get themselves in a hole, and they seem to have been able to dig out of the hole. But I'm telling you what, you're wrestling a pretty good team in Assumption.
Yeah, they really are, and that's Assumption comes in here. They're the number 2 seed in this tournament, and they're showing that right now. But again, Independence, they need to get into the strength of their order here, and for them, they really want to do it soon.
Well, you're exactly right, and Finch is going to go up on top. 1:44, second period underway. And Jake Jewell doing a nice job hanging on to the right leg of Finch. And might get a stalemate there. I think we should get a stalemate right here. Our referee's going to let him wrestle here, and I'm not sure why. A lot of time has burned up off the clock. Thought we might see a stalemate and get a restart. Might be a 2-point reversal. Oh, no change. No change as the wrestlers have to go back to the center of the mat. And it's going to be Finch down. Boy, that was a lot of time burned up off the clock for Jake Jewell. Thought we might see just a real quick stalemate there. 1:16, second period. Nice chop, tight waist by Jewell. Again, nobody has scored. Jake Jewell doing a very fine job on Finch. He's 32-3, and he's ranked, I believe he's ranked 3 or 4 at weight class 145 and 2A, so he is no slouch here, but we're seeing Jake Jewell. Jamie, it just takes somebody to light the fire. Last dual meet, it was Zach Kramer. This dual meet, it might as well be Jake Jewell to light the fire for the Independence Mustangs. 42 seconds left, second period, 0-0 up on the board. Neither wrestler doing much on top. There's a tripod stand-up by Finch, and Jewell's going to do a nice job dropping down to a single and going to cover up the hips of Finch again, and Coach Bush is just beside himself. Over on the far corner, Coach Doyle and Coach Lochran giving a round of applause to their fine sophomore, Jake Jewell, as he has ridden Tristan Finch out this whole period, doing an outstanding job applying pressure. Now a spiral ride by Jewell, half Nelson on the right. Again, 5 seconds left. You don't want to give up any points here if you're Jake Jewell. He's looking at the clock and watching it tick down to zeros. And Coach Bush not very happy at all. Going to be Jake Jewell's choice. Jewell riding out Finch for the whole second period. And now we're going to go to neutral. I'm telling you what, Jake Jewell looks fresh. This would be a huge upset, and this could be exactly what the Independence Mustangs need to get back into this meet. There's a long double shot by Finch. Head to the outside. And I'll tell you what, nice double underhook by Jewell as he pulls Finch up. I think this weight difference is bothering Finch just a little bit. There's a low single reshot by Jewell, and Finch has to find the edge of the mat. Jewell gets back to the mat pretty quickly. I tell you what, Finch is very slow coming back to the mat. Long shot again by Finch. Again, 0-0. Is yet to have an overtime match. Jamie, I don't want to jinx us, but we're yet to have an overtime match. This could be one, as both wrestlers have done an outstanding job fighting each other off. 1:18 left to go. There's a snap down attempt by Finch. There's a long double by Finch. Nice down block by Jewell. Jewell now, I'm telling you what, if he could go to a drive cradle off that, he might have a 2-point takedown and some back points, but a nice recovery by Finch as he goes to a down block. Now Jewell dives in on a double. He's trying to keep his toes in, and we're off the edge of the mat.
That's what Jake Jewell's got to do here. He's got to keep taking these shots and really push the pace here on Tristan Finch.
And Jamie, I like what Zach said in that last duel. You know, you want to push the tempo. When you got the edge here, you want to get somebody out of their comfort zone. And I think Jake Jewell could get Tristan Finch out of his comfort zone. I think Finch is out of his comfort zone right now. I think Jewell, if he keeps pushing the pressure here, he's got an opportunity to score a takedown here and steal a match. 38 seconds left to go. Still 0-0. There's a nice single by Jewell. He's in deep. Finch goes around the head. This could be a 2-point takedown. Finch is going to try to get out of here with the scramble. He's going to grab the heel and get a roll through. Jewell on top of Finch. Finch hanging on to that right ankle. And we should have a stalemate here, Jamie. Let's get a stalemate so these guys can continue wrestling. Finch is going to try to come out the back door. Jewell turns on Finch.
He's got his hips down.
This could be a 2-point takedown. No points there as Jewell hangs on to the left leg of Tristan Finch. We're going to go to overtime.
What a scramble.
Oh, what a scramble right there.
Well, it didn't look good there for Jake Jewell, but he did a great job. He grabbed a hold of the leg and didn't give it up. So nice job there by Jake Jewell.
Tristan Finch is absolutely gassed right here, Jamie. If you're Jake Jewell, you want to pummel that head right now. Get in on that. Pummel that head right now. Tristan Finch is on his heels. Jake Jewell needs to pummel that head and get right back in on that single. And this time, instead of staying on the mat, get it up. There's Finch in on a double. He just drops in on a double. Here's an opportunity for Jewell to score 2 here. And, that was a quick stalemate.
He was just starting to come out of the grasp of Finch there.
47 seconds left to go. There's a duck under by Finch. Another nice down block by Jewell. And Finch having enough gas left in his tank to work out of that predicament. 38 seconds left to go here. Hard collar tie by Jewell, retie by Finch. Again, Finch is flat-footed. Jewell is flat-footed. Ankle pick attempt by Jewell. 29 seconds left to go. There's a double leg by Finch. Double underhook. Down block by Jewell. Coach Doyle up out of his chair offering some encouragement to his young man to cut the corner. Jamie, you got to stuff and spin right here. Stuff that head of Finch. Get yourself around with a go-behind. Score 2. Win the match.
Well, you mentioned Finch is gassed right now. I mean, you just saw he was hoping for a stalemate right there, and he wasn't able to get it.
And we're going to go to period number 5. Here comes the flip of the disc. Flip the disc there, Mr. Official. Get these guys going. It's going to be Jewell's choice. And Jamie, he rode Finch out. He's going to defer. Boy, he rode Finch out. This may come into play for
Jake Jewell.
Could. We're going to find out. Jewell deferred over to Finch. Finch chose down. Here comes a stand-up by Finch. Nice hand control by Finch. He's going to score 1.
And really, that doesn't. Looking at it now, Finch, that's the first point of the match. So if it comes down to that last overtime period, it's going to be Finch's choice.
Well, 13 seconds left. Jewell in on a single. See if he can finish it. Finch dances out of it. Reshot now by Finch. Both back up to their feet. 5 seconds left to go. And we're going to go to period number 6. And Jake Jewell's choice. He's got to go down. You got to go down to try and tie it up. 2 would be huge. But you're right into the strength of Tristan Finch. What a great match this is. Jake Jewell giving it everything he's got. Here comes Jewell to his feet. Here comes that tilt attempt. Now hip heist. Boy, that's where you feel like you can score there. And Jake Jewell could not get his hips out to a hip heist position. And Finch went right back to that tight waist. And here's where assumption is so deadly. Finch now with the tight waist on the right, head lever on the left. 9 seconds left to go. And Finch is doing a good job just holding Jewell to the mat, and that's going to do it. Oh, boy.
Wow. It was a great match, but unfortunately not in favor of Jake Jewell there.
That was a hard-fought match by Jake Jewell. Gave it everything he got against number 4 ranked Tristan Finch at weight. Granted, that's at weight class 145, but Tristan Finch is gassed. And he goes off the mat and gives his headgear just a little bit of toss. That's a toss in frustration. Wow.
It is, and I think you mentioned that the weight had a lot to do with that there as he moved up to weight class 152 where he's used to wrestling at 145, and that really paid a difference, and I think that's why he was so tired. But unfortunately, Jake Jewell couldn't take advantage.
Well, Jamie, we will not see Nick Holt at weight class 160. We are going to see Elliot Ryan, another one of those outstanding sophomores for Coach Mike Doyle. Elliot Ryan comes in at 25-4. And I'll tell you what, he's wrestling Danny Bush, who's coming into the tournament at 35-3. Bush ranked, highly ranked, number 1, number 2, number 3 in Class 2A. So, but again, they're giving up some weight differentiation here. Bush moving from 52 to 60. We could have a takedown right here by Elliot Ryan, and no, we don't, as Bush finds the edge of the mat. Alburnett up 19-11 right now and looking for some more points. All right, 1:03 left to go in the first period, and again we have a scoreless match here. 29-16, Southeast Polk now over Waverly Shell Rock. Bettendorf all over Cedar Rapids Prairie, 29-3. And Creston right now gets back into this, 18-9. Eddyville-Blakesburg over Don Bosco, 17-16. 34 seconds left, 0-0. Long shot by Bush, nice down block by Elliot Ryan off the edge of the mat. We're going to get a stalling against Danny Bush for getting off the edge of the mat. So, Jamie, these Assumption Knights, not sure if they ate their Wheaties this morning, but they're a little bit slow. There's a Kelly by Bush, just as he gets the warning, dives in on a single, switches off to a Kelly, dumps Elliot Ryan to his hip, covers up the hips, and now there's a 2-point takedown by Bush. And Assumption's going to go up 2-0 in this match right here, and right back to work. Tight waist with the left, claw ride with the right. Here comes a tilt, but I'll tell you what, Elliot Ryan will be saved by the buzzer.
I tell you what, Davenport Assumption, we've seen it the last couple years, you know. As 2 years ago, they beat West Delaware by 2 in the championship. Last year, it was a 1-point duel. They're very opportunistic. You know, they'll take an opportunity like that as Elliot Ryan had a good shot on Danny Bush, and he just, like you said, he hit that Kelly and came around for a 2-point takedown late in that first period.
Well, you're right, and we're going to go neutral to start this second period, and that's a good place for Ryan to be from Independence. There's a single by Ryan, and he's got the left leg, Bush up in the air. Let's see if he can score with it, boy. He tried to go to the head and lock up a cradle. I would have liked to seen him pull that heel out and treetop Bush and send Bush to the mat with a little force. Not going to happen there, so we're going back to neutral. Front headlock now by Ryan. Bush doing a nice job controlling the right elbow of Elliot Ryan. 1:14 left to go. Bush hanging on to a 2-0 lead. Our dual meet score is 26-5. 26-5 is our dual meet score. 2-0 is our match score with 58 seconds left here. Again, no points here. Let's get a stalemate, Mr. Official. Clarion Goldfield winning by a foul over there. So it's now 19-17 in favor of the Pirates. There's a short arm drag by Bush. He's going to try to cut the corner on Ryan, and he does. He picks up a 2-point takedown. Now he goes up 4-0. So the second takedown of the match for the senior from Davenport Assumption. 35-3, trying to go 36-3. And 31 seconds left. Second period. If you're just joining us, this is the State Dual Meet Wrestling Tournament, and we have the semifinals in all three classes going on right now. Alburnett and Clarion Goldfield and Don Bosco and Eddyville-Blakesburg in 1A. Assumption Independence and Creston and Mediapolis in 2A. And then Waverly Shell Rock and Southeast Polk and Bettendorf and Cedar Rapids Prairie in 3A. And we've got 1A consolations to our far left. Again, not a better view of wrestling than to be right here.
I tell you what, you got the MAC in there, Bettendorf. They're leading Cedar Rapids Prairie 29-3 right now. That's just a lopsided duel. And then, of course, Southeast Polk. They're CIML, correct?
Yes, they are.
They're up on Waverly Shell Rock right now, 29-22. So a range of conferences here in these tournaments.
Well, you're right, Jamie, and we're seeing the strength of those conferences come out.
And over there in the consolation match, we've also got the Class 2A consolation semifinals, as right now It's tied up 13-13 with Sergeant Bluff, Luton, and Clear Lake 13-13, and Albia leads Webster City 36-18.
Dylan Winfield for the Albernet Pirates winning by a fall, so now it's 25-17. They extend their lead over Clarion Goldfield. Bush now on top of Ryan. It was his choice to start the third period, and there was no doubt where he was going to go. That was up on top. He's got a Chickawing locked up now. Chickawing on the left, Half Nelson on the right. Here comes that tilt that they do so well. He's going to roll him across his back. He's going to keep the Half Nelson in, and now Bush picking up some back points. He kept the Chickawing on the left. Now he rolls Ryan up. He curls Ryan up. Might be potentially dangerous right here as he was putting a lot of pressure on the head and neck of Elliott Ryan, and that's going to be a 3-point near fall now for Danny Bush, and he goes up now 7-0, trying to extend that lead and work on some bonus points for the Assumption Knights. Again, the Independence Mustangs could get right back into this meet with a win here. I'm telling you what, Danny Bush has come on. 2 years ago, he moved from Wisconsin back to Iowa to live with his dad. And he started, Jamie, he wrestled at weight class 170. His first match that he wrestled in Iowa was at the Hawk Invite 2 years ago. And his dad said, I don't know how good he is.
We've heard that from Pete a few times this year.
Yes, we have.
Or, I mean, in the past. You know, I think he said that this year with one of his wrestlers. He said, I don't know how good he is. It might have been Tristan Finch, actually, who he said that about. But I tell you what, he may not know about them, but he figures out in a real big hurry how good they are.
Well, I think that's his thing when he says, I don't know how good they are. I think that means they're pretty good. That's usually the case. 55 seconds left to go. Danny Bush up on top, riding that tight waist on the left. Half Nelson on the right, claw ride, applying a lot of forward pressure to Ryan from Independence. Elliott Ryan, the fine sophomore, 25-4. Again, not qualifying for the individual tournament that will start tomorrow, but trying to make the best out of his opportunity here today for the Independence Mustangs. Again, Independence with a huge win, 40-32 over number 3 Albia to start this tournament. And I'll tell you what, that got the Mustang crowd excited. That got us excited. And it was just a huge win for the Mustangs to get them into this position. 29 seconds left to go. 7-0 lead by Bush. Bush trying to tilt again on Ryan. He's got Ryan loaded up. And no points there. Elliott Ryan did a nice job keeping his chest to the mat. And Bush coming right back up on top with the legs. Again, double legs this time by Bush. 2 legs in. Now a power half Nelson by Bush. No points there. 6 seconds left to go. And Bush is going to win this thing by simple decision as our clock expires. 7-0. So a nice job there. Again, at 152 and at 160, the Independence Mustangs have done what they had to do, and that is not give up huge points, leaving the door open for the Mustangs. It's now 29-5, and we're going to weight class 170, and we'll see if Zach Kramer, Jamie, can pull a little bit more magic in that singlet today. We'll check out the skinny, who Assumption will send. He'll send Justice Burke. He's 14-0 as a freshman. First time we've called Justice Burke's name all year. We have seen Assumption wrestle several times. We're going to see Zach Kramer. There's Justice Burke in on a high crotch. And he's going to lift Zach Kramer up and pick up a 2-point takedown. I tell you what, got that in, and that was a solid takedown by Burke. And Burke coming in here. Oh, Jamie, they've changed it. This is Trace Timmons. I wondered if that. I couldn't imagine throwing. Yeah,
sometimes we think sometimes they think that, they throw that name up there right away and then they end up changing it a little bit later.
Well, this is Trace Timmons, and we have seen Trace Timmons wrestle several times. Now Timmons with that early 2-point takedown, and now he's got Zach Kramer wrapped up. Here comes a cross body ride. And I'm telling you what, if you're Zach Kramer, nice job by Kramer to not let Timmons throw the cross body right in. And not get any tilt started. Southeast Polk winning by a fall. Waverly Shell Rock might get thrown to the consolation match here. Now there's a 2-point reversal. Nice job by Zach Kramer. We'll see. Here comes a crossface. Here comes the magic. Kramer's got to try to lock up that cradle. Trace Timmons fighting hand control. Crossface from right to left. Right across the cheek of Trace Timmons. Kramer trying to lock that crossface up. 27 seconds. It's tied up at deuces on the scoreboard. Our meet score is 29-5 in favor of the Assumption Knights. And now Zach Kramer's going to go right back to work on a double inside wrist, spiral ride, inside wrist on the left, spiral ride on the left. Timmons comes to a stand-up, 10 seconds left. Nice lift and return by Kramer, showing a little bit of strength. Hard crossface again by Kramer. And again, that's what I like, Jamie. If you're going to crossface somebody, make them feel it.
Exactly, and make them create discomfort, as Chris Lenz would always say in the wrestling room. Make them feel like they don't want to be out on the mat anymore.
And again, that's you've got to send a message to your opponent that you're here to wrestle. And if you're just going to grab and hold on, I certainly like what Zach Kramer did at the end of that first period. Throw that crossface with a little bit of authority and tell Trace Timmons, you better strap it on for the next 4 minutes. 2-2 is our score, and we're going to neutral. We'll see if Zach Kramer can get busy on his feet here and score some points. Hard 2-on-1 Russian tie there by Kramer. He dives in on a single to the right side, the left side of Timmons. He's got that left leg of Timmons picked up. Let's see if he can turn this into some points. He's going to go across the head for a cradle. Here comes the cradle magician. Zach Kramer with the cradle again. This time a drive cradle. He's got it locked up tight. There's the fall. There's the fall. Zach Kramer 2 for 2. The Magic is still in the singlet. 2:45. Zach Kramer will win by a fall. And I'll tell you what, the magic is still there. The senior making the best of his state dual meet experience right here as he will chalk up 6 to the Mustangs column. It is now 29-11, and the door is open. We'll see what happens here, Jamie. Oh, great match here. We're going to see Kyle Fank and Gabe Rangel. Contrasting body styles. I'll tell you what, this match is worthy of a gold medal match on Saturday night. Class 2A style. Contrasting body styles, you have Kyle Fank, who is about 6'2", and you have Gabe Rangel, who's about 5'7", 8 or 9. Power packed into that 182-pound weight class. But believe it or not, Gabe Rangel is a legger. Kyle Fank is a legger. There's Fank in on a low single. Front headlock now by Rangel. We'll see if Fank can short drag out of this. Fank doing a nice job controlling that right elbow of Rangel as Rangel sinks that in very, very deep. Fank doing a nice job now. Rangel bumping Fank forward and back. Got a bird's eye view of Ron Fank down in front of us, sitting on the edge of his seat. A featured match right here with Rangel and Fank. Let's check the skinny out on it's not posted yet. I'll tell you what, again, worthy. This is a medal match here, Jamie. Kyle Fank, the fine senior from Independence, and Gabe Rangel, a fine junior. Rangel is 32-5.
And you've got 2 kids in here. You've got Kyle Fank, who's ranked number 3 in the state, and Rangel, who's number 7. So you mentioned just an outstanding matchup between these two.
Well, you're right, and I tell you what, I think Coach Bush with an opportunity to win this match, he's going to throw his best kids, and he's done that for 3 years, Jamie. Since West Delaware, it's always been his best kids. Going to throw them out on the match, and he's going to win this thing. He's going to win it with his best kids. 20 seconds left to go. Fank has had the only shot up to this point, and Rangel very hard to penetrate with that short, squatty body. Even though Fank has the length on Rangel, Rangel does a nice job. He stays in that square stance. And now there's a 2-on-1 tie by Wrangell, and Fank backs out of it. First period over, 0-0. And let's check out looks like Wrangell's got the red leg band on. It's going to be his choice. He's going to defer over to Fank, and Fank's going to choose down to start this. Again, Gabe Wrangell deceptive. He can throw a cross body right in. We saw that at the district on Saturday at DeWitt. And there's a stand-up by Fank. Fank clears the hands of Wrangell. Wrangell dives in on a double. We might get a stalling call on Wrangell. Wrangell trying to crawl up the body. Referee looking for locked hands. It's got to be stalling on Wrangell, Jamie, and yes it is. That's going to be a 1-point escape for Fank. Wrangell had to give that up. Our assistant referee was down there looking close to see if there was locked hands. On Wrangell, and there was not.
Take a look at the other scores here real quick while these two.
2-point takedown by Fank, Jamie. That was sweet right there. Fank got in. We saw his length. He got in, cupped his hands behind the knees of Wrangell, drove across those posts, and then set Wrangell down. And that's Kyle Fank at his best.
Absolutely. Look at those scores. Alburnett leads Clarion Goldfield 25-17. Eddyville-Blakesburg over Don Bosco right now 26-21. Mediapolis leads Creston 25-9. It's Sergeant Bluff-Luton in the consolation semifinals in Class 2A tied with Clear Lake 25-25. And also in the consolation semis, it's Albia 36, Webster City 30. In the Class 3A semifinal, Southeast Polk leads Waverly Shellrock 35-25. And in also Bettendorf leading Cedar Rapids Prairie 29-13.
Again, some great action going on. Kyle Fank now up 3-0 with 30 seconds left to go. And here comes the pressure by Fank. Crossface from left to right. He scoops that left ankle of Wrangell, and he's driving hard to the right side of Wrangell, maybe looking for a tilt. Wrangell does a nice job peeling the crossface off, but I'll tell you what, if you're Kyle Fank, this is the place you want to be. This is the place you got to be. And I'll tell you what, that's an opportunity to inflict some pain on the junior from Assumption while winning the match. It's going to be Wrangell's choice. He's going to choose neutral. Clarion Goldfield with a fall. It's going to be 28-23 now. Clarion Goldfield opening up the door. That's weight class 195, 220, and 285 and 106 left. 3 matches in class 1A. All right, Wrangell going to choose neutral. It's 3-0. Again, I'd like to see that double. Like to see that double by Fank again. We may see it and we may not see it. Again, he's up by 3. 127 left to go. We're going to get a stalemate off the edge of the mat, and I was going to call a stalemate as neither wrestler was trying to improve their position there. Again, the winner of this will have the winner of Mediapolis or Creston, and that will be at Jamie 6:30.
And that for us will be on KMCH.com. So if you're on KMCH on your radio dial or on KMCH mainstream, you'll have to go back to the main page of KMCH and click on that second stream, as that's where Roger and I will be for that last duel with Independence and, like you said, either Mediapolis or Creston.
Yeah, and tell you what, whoever it's going to be another tough duel, Jamie. You got Mediapolis ranked 1 or 2, trading places with Assumption all year. Creston's in the top 5 or 6, and that's going to be a tough duel. But again, for the 9 wrestlers that did not qualify for Coach Doyle as individuals, this is all about experience. You know, you can't get a better opportunity than to come down here and wrestle today against quality competition.
Exactly, and you know, we've talked earlier about how coaches in the past haven't wrestled their starters in this or their state qualifiers, but I tell you what, it's so helpful, I think, because, you know, we've seen West Delaware come down here and wrestle in the state duels and wrestle all their starters and their state qualifiers the last couple years, and they've done a great job coming in there, and they've wrestled well at the state tournament.
Well, it's exactly right, and as time expires here, Jamie, a very uneventful third period as Wrangell chose neutral. No points scored. Kyle Fank will win that 3-0. That'll give the Independence Mustangs 3 more. It is now 29-14. The Mustangs have almost cut the lead in half. 29-14. And we're moving up to weight class 195, where we will see Matt McMillan. We'll see if he can keep this string going of wrestling very, very good matches here. At weight class 195, we'll see Chase Hager. He came out of nowhere, 15-11, a state qualifier for Assumption. He was the district champ at 195. Came into the district at, I believe he was 13-10 or something like that. And tell you what, ends up as a state qualifier for Coach Pete Bush. So crazy things can happen. It's state wrestling time, and Hager is a junior. Now looking at that Assumption lineup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Half their lineup is seniors, Jamie. Assumption, so they've got half of this squad back, looking for a repeat. And of course, we already talked about Independence Mustangs only having 3 seniors in their lineup, so they will have 11 back to build on. All right, underway here, 109. 109 left to go in the first period, and we still got 0-0. 28-23, Alburnett and Clarion have a tough match going on. Alburnett sends out Robbie Carruthers, and Clarion has Caleb Hansen. That match is 0-0. Don Bosco, Eddyville Blakesburg now over Don Bosco 32-21. All right, a lot of pushing and shoving, 34 seconds. There's McMillan. A lot of pushing and shoving. This Chase Hager, another short, squatty body, very muscular legs, very muscular shoulders and arms. And Matt McMillan will have to be very crafty. Now, you think you're wrestling a kid that's got 11 losses, Jamie, but we've seen people that get hot this time of year, and they turn into unbelievable wrestlers.
Oh, they really do, and it's outstanding the way these kids. You know, Matt McMillan, last year he qualified for the state tournament, came out, and has really had an outstanding season and has wrestled some really good kids and beaten some really good kids as well.
Well, you're exactly right, and it's just, if you catch fire at the right time, it doesn't matter what your records. Sectional wrestling time, throw your records out. Kids that have caught fire. We've seen kids with losing records come down here and end up on the medal stand on Saturday night. We've seen kids come into this dual meet tournament with losing records and be the spark that their team needed. There's a very nice stand-up by Matt McMillan, about 4 seconds worth. He pops right to his feet, splits the hands of Hager, and right to his feet we go. Now we've got more pushing and shoving taking place right here.
Southeast Polk defeats Waverly Shellrock 38-31 in the Class 3A semifinal. So a good duel between those two teams, but Waverly Shellrock comes up on the short end there.
Well, it appears that we're going to see a Southeast Polk Bettendorf. That was a rematch of last year. Southeast Polk got the win on the Bulldogs. There's McMillan with a nice throw. Boy, he's going to pick up 2, and you got to give him 2-point near fall there, Mr. Official. Hager was bridging off his back, and holy mackerel, it's got to be 2 and 2. Coach Doyle's even saying something about that. That's got to be 2 and 2. Wow. Hager was on his back, flipping and flopping like a fish out of water, Jamie, and no 2 points. Great throw by McMillan. Man. Wow, how is that not 2? Wow, we've got 2 officials out there, and our head official didn't even ask the assistant official. I didn't think he would. I'll tell you what an opportunity for McMillan to pick up some huge points. But I'll tell you what, he is tough on top, taking Chase Hager now with a tight waist, a head lever, riding tough. And we're going to go off the edge of the mat. Before the 6:30 duel, you want to stay tuned. We'll have a one-on-one with Coach Mike Doyle. talking about his wrestlers and their first 2 duels today and about the duel coming up tonight. So be ready for that. All right, 56 seconds left to go, second period. There's a stand-up by Hager. Hager's going to score 1 as he splits the hands of McMillan. And we went to a throw, Hager tried to throw on McMillan. McMillan sagged his hips. And now we got to take a timeout as Hager's headgear went sideways across his face. 3-1 now. I can see why Hager's here, Jamie, very explosive.
He is, and we really didn't get to see a lot of that last Saturday, as just a couple matches. But I tell you what, he is, when he gets after it, he really goes.
And we're going back to our feet for the last 27 seconds left in this second period. I would like to see Matt McMillan show some of that explosiveness. McMillan tries to drop down on a single on the right side of Hager, and nothing doing as Hager backs out of it. 14 seconds left to go. Alburnett now 28-26. Clarion Goldfield's going to make this close. This is going to come down to the 106-pound match. Clarion Goldfield has a very good heavyweight. Alburnett's going to send out DJ Cole, Mitch Gambro for the Cowboys. Clarion Goldfield Cowboys trying to take the lead. A fall would be 32-28 in favor of the Cowboys. Alburnett has DJ Cole out on the mat. We'll spy that one for you. Got some Alburnett people listening close. So we'll keep that. There's Hager with a throw. Boy, he tried that cattle catcher, went around the head of McMillan under the arm. And I'm telling you what, off the edge of the mat, saved by the white line was Matt McMillan. Hager had that wrapped up very, very tight. Hager now trying to work some collar ties, trying to work inside position on McMillan. Hager trying to get on top of McMillan. McMillan doing a nice job with a retry, trying to get inside position. DJ Cole on his back. There's going to be the fall for Clarion. That's going to come down to 106 for the Alburnett Pirates to advance. Ben Moyer is going to have to win by a major points here as the Cowboys now took a 32-28 lead. 106 left to go in this match. 4-1 now for McMillan. 57 seconds and counting. Collar tie, retie. Short arm drag by McMillan. Again, anything trying to get an angle. McMillan trying to get an angle on Hager. And Hager, again, very difficult to wrestle with that build. McMillan with that early takedown and no back points. It would have been nice to have those back points. No back points. But again, he's done a valiant job staying in great position on his feet. That looked like a left hook by Hager as he tried to go collar tie to McMillan. McMillan again a retie, taking inside position, and that's huge. Jamie, when you get in your feet, that inside position is just huge, and Matt McMillan's doing a very fine job.
He is, and he's got to take advantage here. He's got 16 seconds left. Ride this thing out and get this win here. And like you said, Independence really cutting into that lead here.
Well, you're exactly right. Well, there's a takedown off the edge of the mat by McMillan on a duck under. Soon as Hager reached, McMillan hit him with a duck under, lifted him off the mat, but no points there as the white line. There's a long single shot by Hager. That's going to do it. A nice 4-1 win. A 4-1 win by McMillan. But Jamie, you need bonus points. If Independence is going to win this thing, you need some bonus points. That's going to get him 3. It's now 17-29. They're still within. There are 3 matches to go. They're still mathematically in this thing. A 4-1 simple decision by Matt McMillan. And we're going to go to weight class 220, and I believe the Mustangs are going to send out Jason Grover. And yes, they are. Let's see who. We're going to have Zach Adrian, one of the fine seniors for Assumption. An Adrian win here could salt this thing away mathematically for the Knights. 144, here we go. Jason Grover giving up a lot of weight to Adrian. But again, Jason Grover has done that through the course of this year. Wherever Coach Doyle has needed him, he has filled in that lineup and done a fantastic job scoring points for the Mustangs. Again, he's a junior. He's going to grow into that. He's going to grow into that weight. He's going to grow into that frame, and I would look for him to be a very solid 220-pounder next year. 1:14 left to go. 0-0 on the board. Again, our dual meet score is 29-17. The Independence Mustangs have won 3 straight. A foul by Zach Kramer, a simple decision by Kyle Fank, a simple decision by Matt McMillan have got him mathematically back in this meet. There's a duck under by Grover, tries to get the corner on Adrian. Round the head, under the arm, throw attempt by Grover, and Adrian finds the edge of the mat. Well, I like the aggression here by Jason Grover. Again, caution to the wind, nothing to hold back on. Again, at heavyweight, we'll see Mitch Soliski for the Independence Mustangs. We'll see Jake O'Dean. That's got to go. Soliski will be favored at heavyweight. And then at 106, we're going to see a couple of freshmen, Sean Casey for the Assumption Knights and Jake Wolf. So I tell you what, mathematically they are in it. This is a huge match right here. Boy, a fall, Jamie. A fall by Jason Grover would be huge. There's a headlock by Zach Adrian. No points yet. Thought he had Grover turned to his back. No points. There's a double attempt. Wow, what great action. Adrian threw Grover in a headlock, was looking for 2 and more, and Grover rolled out of it, Jamie.
He did, and while Adrian goes to the blood corner, remind you that postseason wrestling on KMCH brought to you by State Farm Insurance, Julie Smith Agency in Manchester, Easy Pickens, Subway, Fidelity Bank and Trust, Delhi Lumber, New Vienna Mutual Insurance, Wapsie Valley Creamery, Advanced Eye Care Associates, and Edgewood Auto and Tire. As we'll do a quick recap of what we've got going around on the mats. A lot of noise over there in that Don Bosco match as they're taking on Eddyville Blakesburg, looking for a fall. Alburnett, there it is. That's the fall. So Alburnett is down 32-28. Right now, Ben Moyer, their 106-pounder, is down 6-1 against Justin Portillo from Clarion Goldfield. And with that fall, Don Bosco is going to go up 33-32 going into the last match in the semifinals in Class 1A. Mediapolis leads Creston 28-13 right now. In the consolation semifinals in Class 2A, Sergeant Bluff leads Clear Lake 31-25. And in the 3A semifinal, Bettendorf leads Cedar Rapids Prairie 38-16.
And Jamie, Don Bosco sends their hammer out there, Jordan Schmitz, highly ranked at 106, the senior. So again, we talked about how nice it is to have a hammer in the lineup that you can count on. And Don Bosco's found a way to sneak through this, knocking off. It looks like they may knock off number 2, Eddyville Blakesburg. And we may have Clarion Goldfield knocking off number 1, Alburnett. 30 seconds left to go in the second period, and Portillo is up 6-1 on Moyer. Starting the second period here, it's 0-0 with Grover and Adrian. There's Grover, he's got Adrian on his back in a reverse half Nelson. Grover has Adrian on his back and couldn't keep him there. He's going to get 2 for the near fall, and Grover's going to roll through and pick up 2 for the reverse. Oh boy, Jamie, to flatten out there and to get that reverse half Nelson and to keep it, that would have been huge.
It would have, and he had him on his back, and Adrian just so agile for a 220-pounder, and he rolls through and picks up a reversal of his own.
Wow, unbelievable. There's a tilt now by Adrian as he pulls Grover right over on top of him, right on his hips with a tight waist. Got a tight waist with the right. He's got a left control. He's got that left wrist of Jason Grover trapped underneath, and he's going to try to set up that tight waist tilt. Boy, Jason Grover, I like what he's doing, and that's using his quickness. He's given up a lot of weight, but he's got the quickness. There's a short sip by Grover, snapback attempt by Adrian. Grover may get to his feet and score 1 here. Grover trying to high leg over Adrian. Adrian doing a good job with that tight waist again, showing a little bit of strength. 47 seconds left to go. There's twos all the way across the board. Second period, the score is 2-2. There's Adrian with a tight waist, another stand-up, and he's going to cut Grover loose. Grover's going to pick up 1 point here. Outstanding job by Jason Grover. He's going to take the lead at 3-2. And Jamie, the difference in this match so far has been the early bonus points by there's Schmitz winning by a fall. There's the hammer. Bosco finds a way to get themselves into the finals. Tell you what, Eddyville-Blakesburg was counting on being in the finals, Jamie, and they overlooked the Dons. Once again, the Don Bosco has the magic. So Don Bosco will advance to tonight's finals, and it looks like it's going to be against Clarion Goldfield. With 1 minute left to go, Portillo is up 8-1, 6-1. All right, Jamie, third period. Adrian has to take injury timeout, Jamie, as he's over there rolling. He's got, looks like he's got a brace on his left ankle, and he's going to take some injury timeout as he has to work that. He's working that left. I don't know if he's just tired or if he's really injured. But
I tell you what, he's ranked number 4 in the state in a state qualifier. So you hope nothing is too wrong with him. 20 seconds left to go in that Class 1A match. We just mentioned Don Bosco as they get the win 39-32 over Eddyville-Blakesburg, and it's 6-1, and it looks like Clarion Goldfield is going to knock off the defending state champs, Alburnett, by the final score of 35-28.
There's Grover with the 2-point takedown on the whistle. I'll tell you what, if Zach Adrian is ranked 4, Jamie, Jason Grover ought to be right in the rankings. I'll tell you what, that was a double leg. Grover kept his legs driving. He doesn't care about the size difference. He's used to wrestling Matt McMillan. He's used to wrestling Matt Saliski. He's used to wrestling all those kids in the independence room, and it's showing right here. I like what he's doing, and that's using his quickness, using his heart, using his determination. And he takes a peek over to Coach Doyle. And with 1:20 left to go, he takes a 5-2 lead on Zach Adrian. Hard crossface now by Grover. And he's going to lift up that big tree trunk leg of Adrian and drive him off to the side. And right now, Jamie, Jason Grover is pummeling Zach Adrian. He is winning the battle. He is winning the battle of shape. He's winning the battle of heart. He's winning the battle of intensity. He's winning the battle of determination, and he's winning on the board.
And he really needs to come out here and just, really end this match because, like you said, they need bonus points here, and they need to start getting them soon as there's only a couple matches left after this. So he's really got to get going here.
I'll tell you what, this would be a huge Independence is getting right into this meet, Jamie. They get a win here. Now they're only down by 9. And you're going to Matt Saliski against Odine and Mitch Saliski against Odine. Grover now lifts up that leg of Adrian. And again, let's call Adrian for stalling. Thank you very much. There's a short sit now by Adrian. Adrian to his feet, and he's going to score 1 on the escape, 5-3 now. Now if you're Jason Grover, you got to think a little bit more carefully here. With 27 seconds left to go in the third period, you're up by 2. Make Zach Adrian take a bad shot and counter him. There's a nice job by Grover. This is turning into a physicality match right here, and I like it a lot. Jason Grover not backing up one step, Jamie. And Coach Doyle has to love it too. 16 seconds left. 5-3 is your score. Independence trying to win the 4th match in a row. There's a throw attempt by Adrian. It's going to be a takedown by Grover. Grover's going to win this match 7-3 with 5 seconds left. And that's going to be the 4th match in a row that the Independence Mustangs have won. And now, Jamie, it's 29-20. 29-20. 9 points away are the Mustangs. And we're not going to see Mitch Saliski.
Is this
and
Bowers?
I don't know why. This may be Bowers. We're going to see what happens. This is Odine, though. This is Jake Odine. Jake O'Dean for the Knights. And this is Brett Bowers for the Mustangs. They're going to put size against size, body against body. We'll check out the skinny on both of them here. We'll see it up on the board here. Jacob O'Dean's 11-22. Brett Bowers is 14-20. Jamie, this is a toss-up match. We saw O'Dean wrestle that first match of the year. We saw big Richie Heverin slap him to the mat, get his first varsity pin for the West Delaware Hawks at the Bob Murphy Invite there that first weekend in December. And I'm telling you what, Brett Bowers has the ability here to win this match. But you know what? It's going to take bonus points here, Jamie. 2 falls and Independence is going to win this thing. 2 falls and Independence has a shot at stealing this dual meet from Assumption. And again, another team overlooking the Mustangs. As I talk to our friends, our broadcasting friends up above us, Jamie, that first duel, he coined that phrase, Albia got caught overlooking the Mustangs right to the Assumption Knights. And I tell you what, if you overlook the Mustangs, they're going to bop you right in the nose, and we've seen that today. And
we have, and you know, look at what Assumption, what they've been doing and what they've been able to do against Assumption. You know, it didn't look good. The Mustangs were down. I think their biggest deficit, you know, was it was 26 or 29-5. So they were down 24 points. But like you said, they've won the last 4 matches and have gotten themselves back in this duel.
Well, you're exactly right again. And we got 12 seconds left at 0-0. Brett Bowers and Jake O'Dean. Both of these guys are built similar. I wouldn't think either one of these wrestlers would tip the scales much over 215. And we're going to go to the third period or second period. And Brett Bowers is going to go to the injury corner, and I think he's saying that O'Dean bit him, Jamie, but I think that was a hard. He threw a hard collar tie that kind of missed the collar and went across the face of O'Dean. And O'Dean, I think, is suffering a bloody lip from it. So they're gonna both go over to the blood corner. O'Dean sporting a heavily bandaged right hand. And let's see whose choice it is. It's going to be Bowers' choice. He's going to go down, Jamie. Boy, he's got to get moving right now. Bettendorf 38, Cedar Rapids Prairie 19. Jack Wagner up 14-3 right now at 106. All right, here comes a cross body by O'Dean. Bowers in that stand-up. He's going to try to grab the head of O'Dean. He's going to stack him up, Jamie. Looking for a defensive fall is Brett Bowers. The double leg by O'Dean. And underneath, he's got a power half Nelson on the left now. And we're going to get a blood timeout again. Somebody's got to go over to the corner. Looks like it's going to be red as O'Dean bleeding one more time. So, Jamie, if you're Brett Bowers, you just got to keep wrestling. I haven't been real keen on Assumption's shape during this session. So right to work we go. Mediapolis 34, Creston 19. That match is at 285 also. So it appears that Mediapolis will win that duel. Sergeant Bluff 34, Clear Lake 25. That duel is over. So we've got 3 duels left to go here. 3A is going to be done. 3A will be done here shortly. And the match in front of us, we got one more. Creston and Mediapolis have one more to go at 106. We started at weight class 113. And O'Dean getting a lot of work there, Jamie. I'm not sure what, I think he's got a split lip, courtesy of that big undercut by Brett Bowers.
Well, you know, that's what we talked about. You know, we talked about that, creating discomfort, and you know when Bowers threw that crossface, he created some discomfort.
And there's a cross-body ride by O'Dean. Bowers reaches down with his right hand and scoops the left leg of O'Dean. Again, you got to be careful here because you can certainly get your left arm trapped underneath the leg, and then you're wrestling with one arm. Not 1:19 left to go. Bowers trying to wiggle his way out. And again, Independence would certainly love to have a fall here if Brett Bowers can somehow work his way out. There's a power half Nelson by O'Dean. And I'm not sure they got any back points, but he's still got the power half Nelson in on the right side of Bowers. He's got the cross body right in on the right side, and he's trying to crank and torque and twist Brett Bowers, and Bowers is doing a nice job keeping his chest down. I don't think there were any points awarded. There comes a hard cross face by O'Dean from left to right. Here comes the legs again. 42 seconds left to go. Bowers gets his feet underneath of him, trying to come that tripod. O'Dean leaves his head. There comes Bowers. He's got both hands on the head of O'Dean. Let's see if he can pull him underneath. He's trying to get his hips up and stack O'Dean. He's got his hips up. He's driving O'Dean forward. He's going to try to stack him up. Maybe he'll pull his head out and pick up a 2-point reversal. O'Dean hanging on for dear life.
Starting to get himself back behind the arms, but Bowers doing a great job. He's just got to, when he gets there and grabs that head, he's got to pop his hips out, and that's what he's going to do right now.
Let's see if he can score the defensive foul. He's got him stacked up. Referee's looking 4 seconds. Bowers needs to inch him forward just a little bit more. Oh, and he's going to run out of time. Man. I think I better take down. If it's Bowers' choice, take down again. Let's see whose choice it's going to be. Well, I'm telling you, Bowers needs to go down. It's going to be O'Dean's choice. Let's see where he decides to go. He's going to go down. Coach Bush said, hey, don't go up again, go down. And wow, Jamie, he needed 10 more seconds. He didn't score the fall, maybe 5 more seconds.
Yeah, it was right there, and he did a great job. And I think, like you mentioned, Coach Bush over there is just gritting his teeth, hoping that he wouldn't come out of there and would not give up that fall there, because he was getting really high, and it was a couple times he did it. So, he's got very lucky there.
Well, he certainly did, and I'll tell you what, the crowd would have erupted here. The crowd would have erupted. The maroon and cream crowd that's right down below us would have just erupted. Preston's going to win by a fall at heavyweight. So it's 34-25 with one match to go at 106. Now Brett Bowers up on top of O'Dean, riding like crazy. He's got O'Dean belly down, working that power half Nelson, trying to get a power half Nelson. On the left side, he's got it locked up. He's got a power half Nelson in. O'Dean gets his hips back in front of us. There's a half Nelson by Bowers with an inside wrist. Half Nelson, they're going to call a full Nelson. Oh, rats, Jamie. Full Nelson by Bowers, and O'Dean's going to score a point. Where mathematically the Mustangs are still in this thing, and it's 29-20. Jamie, we know how close this feels. For 2 years, West Delaware was in this position to win this, and we know what it feels like to come down to these last couple of matches. 1:27 left to go. O'Dean uses that penalty point now to take the lead 1-0. There's a hard cross face by Bowers. Again, O'Dean belly down, not doing a thing. Let's get a stalling call. Bowers out to the side, working cross faces and half Nelsons on both sides. Another nice cross face from left field to right field by Bowers. Bowers trying to set up a cradle. O'Dean now gets his legs up underneath and double inside wrist. Now, thank you very much, stalling. Now we're tied up at 1-1. 56 seconds left to go. Half Nelson again by Bowers to the left side of O'Dean. O'Dean pulls the half Nelson out. Bowers trying to lock up a cross-face cradle. Now Bowers gets high riding, and O'Dean's going to try to pull him off. Now a short sit-out turn-in, and O'Dean's going to score a 1-point escape, 2-1. Now we're going to neutral.
Got to get going here.
35 seconds.
Push this pace here, because he's already given up 1 point for stalling. If you can keep pushing the pace here, maybe get another one.
O'Dean now a hard collar tie on Bowers, and 23 seconds left to go. Bowers has got to know how much time's left to go in the match, and he's got to get something going. Inside position, he's got to work something here. There's a long double by Bowers, He's in deep on the leg. He's got to cut across to a single. Odine draped on top. 14 seconds left to go. Bowers trying to switch off to a single. 9 seconds left to go. Bowers working hard to get underneath Odine. And Odine doing a nice job with the down block. He's going to shove the hips of Bowers free, and that's going to be a 2-1 win by Jake Odine. 2-1 win by Odine. And mathematically now the Mustangs are out of it, as it's going to be a 32-20. 32-20.
Man. It was a great match by Bowers, though,
That was.
I tell you what.
That was, Jamie. Now going to 106, we got Jake Wolf and Sean Casey for the Assumption Knights. Jake Wolf here is 16-28. He's a sophomore. Again, Jake Wolf in a nice double leg takedown. He's going to pull his head out and pick up 2. That's a nice job there by Jake Wolf to get out early. And again, keep the pressure on. Let's see if we can get a fall here. See if we can get a fall and close the gap a little bit. 32-20 is our dual meet score. The Knights will win this, but I tell you what, the courage that the Mustangs have shown. Coach Doyle said there were some questionable matchups, and again, Assumption is tough in those lower weights. And once again, Independent showed their strength in the upper weights. And that's kind of the tail of the tape. Those bonus points that the Assumption Knights scored early are going to hold up and make this dual meet stand. Jake Wolf going out to the front of Sean Casey, trying to set up a drive cradle. And 53 seconds left to go in this first period, and it's going to be a hard crossface by Wolf. He's trying to set up a crossface cradle, but the freshman from Assumption is doing a nice job with hand control underneath. And now cradle locked up. Wolf has the cradle locked up on the far side, and Casey's going to stretch that right leg free. And Wolf's going to stay with that crossface, doing a nice job. And we're going off the edge of the mat. Mediapolis 34, Creston 25. So, Jamie, we're going to see a Creston Independence matchup for the bronze trophy. And that's going to be a very fine dual meet again. Another close one. Good matchups that we're going to see at 6:30. 19 seconds left to go. There's the cradle by Jake Wolf. He's got it locked up. He's got Sean Casey on his back. 13 seconds left to go. Let's see if he can drop that right shoulder of Casey through and score the fall. 7 seconds left. He's not going to get the fall, but I'll tell you what, that's a nice job with short time, and he's going to get a 3-point near fall and take a 5-0 lead. And in the second period, nice job by the sophomore there, Jamie, Jake Wolf.
It was, and he's got an opportunity. This is kind of a match for pride here. You're coming out here. The team is not going to win this dual meet, but and what a range of emotions here for Jake Wolf, because he's sitting there. If Bowers wins that match, he's coming in here with a chance to maybe tie or win the dual meet, and now he's got to just go out and wrestle just for pride, and that's tough, and that's the kind of that's why wrestlers are so crazy, because you have to be crazy because the emotions that you face within a matter of 5 seconds. I mean, you're up, you're like, all right, I'm getting ready to go win this thing for my team, to now we're done with it. So that's a tough situation to be in.
Well, you're exactly right, and we've seen it. We saw it last week at districts. We've seen it here before in the state duels, and again, it's just a lot of fun. This is a good thing. I really enjoy having the duels on this Wednesday before. It gets us ready. I think it gets the kids ready. It gets the fans ready. And there's just been some tremendous duels here. And, there's a lot of coaches that disagree with it. But I kind of like the format because I think the quality of wrestling is just a little bit better. 58 seconds left to go, second period. Casey up on top. He's riding the cross body on Jake Wolf. Wolf chose down. Power half Nelson now by Casey on the right side of Wolf. Wolf trying to come out the back door as Casey's left hip sags to the mat. Casey, one of the 4 Assumption Knights that was not an individual qualifier. He wasn't a district qualifier either. There's a 2-point reversal by Wolf. He's going to pick up 2 as Casey gets way high with the legs. There was 4 Assumption Knights that were not individual state qualifiers. Davenport qualified 10 out of their 14, so they will be highly favored in that 2A battle for the team individual. It's going to be an outstanding finals match with Mediapolis and Assumption. They dueled earlier, and I think it was a 1-point, Jamie, a 1-point Assumption win. Mediapolis was missing a couple of their wrestlers out of their lineup. I think it was a 32-31 or 31-30 duel, so it's going to be an exciting duel. All right, it's going to be Wolf's choice to start the third period, and Wolf is going to go up on top. 7-1. Again, our dual meet score is 32-20. And we've got 2 minutes left. Creston's going to win that match 7-1. We've got 7-1 on both boards, Jamie. What are the odds of that happening? So it's going to be a 34-28 Mediapolis win. 6 points. The Mediapolis Bombers, I think it's the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs from Mediapolis have snuck through, and they will be wrestling in the finals. Wrestling Assumption, so we'll have 1 and 2. 1:30 left to go. Wolf doing a nice job. Sits over the left ankle of Casey. He's going to try to set up that 3/4 Nelson. He sits over the left ankle. Let's see if he can load that 3/4. He's got his shoulder buried deep into the ribs of Casey. He's going to try to load him up. Casey goes belly down, so Wolf will have to readjust. Drive cradle, head in the side. And I'd like to see Wolf stay with that. I think he could curl Casey up and slap him to his back. Hard cross face again from left to right, maybe a cross face cradle. Sean Casey underneath, playing the possum, not doing much. And Jake Wolf doing a nice job up on top, being physical, looking for some pinning combinations. Jamie, again, I'd like to get a stalling call by Casey. Wolf has been out to the side this whole third period, and Casey's kept his head down and just tried to fight hands just a little bit.
Well, he has, and he's looking for the fall. He's looking to put this match in the books, but Casey not doing much. There it is.
He's got it right there, Jake Wolf. He's got the butcher in on Casey.
Oh, that's tight.
I'll tell you what, 23 seconds. Our official's looking. That's got to be a fall. He's keeping that. Casey's keeping that right shoulder up. Wolf is going to have to readjust. He does. He gets his chest up on top. Let's see if he can load this up with 12 seconds to go. 9 seconds to go. He's trying to tee out, and Casey's going to try to roll out of it, and he does. And it's going to be a 3-point near fall, but it's going to be a major decision for Jake Wolf. 10-1.
32-24.
10-1. Well, let's take a short timeout, and we're going to add up our tally up our sheet here. Jamie will come back with a recap and a closing, and then we'll be ready to go for our 6:30 session. So stay right with us. Let's take a short break. You've been listening to State Regional Duels here on Eastern Iowa Sports Station, Mix 94.7 KMCH.
And welcome back into the Wells Fargo Arena as the Independence Mustangs fall to Davenport Assumption 32-24. A hard-fought loss by the Mustangs. They were down 24 points, at one time. Came back and got it within 9 with a chance to come back, but couldn't get it done as they fall 32-24. We started at weight class 113. It was Mitch Evans losing a hard-fought match to Jacob Fensky from Davenport Assumption, 3-0 was the team score at that point. And at the beginning is where Assumption really got their big lead, as a lot of bonus points. At 120, Brennan Gould with a 9-0 major decision over Drew Davis, from Independence. At 126, it was Kirk Momsen from Davenport Assumption with a tech fall, 15-0 over Tanner Erickson Dale. At 132, it was Eric Clark from Assumption with a 16-0 tech fall over Peyton Nolting. At 138, Deontay Parks from Assumption with a fall in 343 over Luke House. That made it 23-0 in favor of the Knights. 145, Chase Straw with a 23-8 tech fall of his own over Nick Johnson from Davenport Assumption. That got the Mustangs on the board, 23-5 the score at that point. At 152, Jake Jewell losing a very hard-fought 1-0 match against Tristan Finch. That was a tiebreaker match. Went to the tiebreaker 1, and Finch gets the win. That made it 26-5. At 160, Danny Bush with a 7-0 win over Elliott Ryan from Independence. At 170, Zach Kramer from Independence with a big fall. 2-0 with 2 falls on the day is Zach Kramer as he defeated Trace Timmons. That made it 29-11. The Mustangs went on to win 4 matches in a row as Kyle Fank at 182. Kyle Fank at 182 with a 3-0 win over Gabriel Rangel from Davenport Assumption. That made it 29-14. 195, Matt McMillan with a 4-1 win over Chase Hager, and Jason Grover with a 7-3 win over 4th-ranked Zach Adrian from Assumption. That made it 29-20. We moved to the heavyweights, and it was Jake O'Dean getting an escape late in the match to win 2-1 over Brett Bowers. That sealed the deal for Davenport. That made it 32-20. And at 106, it was a 10-1 major decision for Jake Wolf from Independence over Sean Casey, making our final team score 32-24. Some match totals for you. Independence had 15 takedowns. Davenport Assumption had 12, 1 pin each for both teams. Tech Falls, Independence had 2. Davenport Assumption had 2, Independence had 1, and 1 major decision apiece for both teams. And Davenport Assumption wins 8 matches, Independence wins 6. So the Mustangs will take on Creston Oriam-Maxburg in the 3rd and 4th place match. That will be at 6:30, and once again, that will be on KMCH.com as we have West Delaware girls basketball as they start the postseason tonight, taking on Dubuque Wahlert in the Seedorf Gymnasium in Manchester. John Swisher and Bill Logan will have the call for that for you on that game as the basketball gets underway. So Roger and I will have that match between Independence and Creston on KMCH.com. We appreciate everybody tuning in with us today and listening to us either on your radio dial or on KMCH.com. We encourage you to please tune in to that last duel with Independence and Creston. It will be a good one, just like the last 2 we have seen with Independence so far. Well, we're going to take a break. We'll be back a little bit before 6:30. Roger's going to catch up with Independence head coach Mike Doyle before our next duel, so we'll start our coverage a little bit before 6:30. Around 6:15, we'll get Coach Doyle on there as well and talk with him before Independence takes on Creston. For Roger Reed, this is Jamie Vaskey, and we'd like to thank all of our sponsors of KMCH Sports and high school wrestling and postseason wrestling here on KMCH Sports. Thank John Swisher for getting us started this morning and Rob Edwards for finishing the day off with us here as we get you set. That's going to do it for us. Have a good night. We'll be back at about 6:15 with Independence and Creston Oriam-Maxburg. You're listening to State Dual coverage on Eastern Iowa Sports Station, Mix 94.7 KMCH.